Giants-Eagles divisional matchup. First up, though, let's get two Jet things out of the way. One, the OC, but also we just had Joe Namath call in, and Joe said that he would happily bring number 12 down from the rafters for either Rodgers or Brady. Now, listen, this is where we are with the Jets' point of view. It's just we're throwing darts. And any chance either of those come to fruition, which is more likely, and if not, what's the path for quarterback in 2023?
So, first of all, for Aaron Rodgers, I would consider that sort of unlikely at this point, pretty unlikely. Couple reasons. One, the Packers would have to be willing to trade him. I don't know that they would. His contract gives him $60 million in cash guaranteed next year, assuming he plays. So if the Jets wanted Aaron Rodgers, they would do it for the very low price of $60 million in cash, unless he accepts less, which for Aaron Rodgers at this point, why would you accept less?
Okay.
I would be very hard pressed to think the Packers.
How much of that goes against the cap? If it's just cash, Woody's got money, whatever.
Right. I mean, right, but I think there's certainly some salary cap issues as well. I mean, that is a big chunk of things. So I would say that one would be considered unlikely. The Brady thing is maybe less unlikely, I would say. Now, he is a free agent. He's got family in New York. They got a good defense. They got some good weapons. That would actually make more sense. It's really a question of, if you're the Jets, do you want a stopgap, or do you want someone like maybe Jimmy Garoppolo, who is 14 years younger, and would be there for more than 1 year.
Yeah,
right. But they're there for more than 1 year.
Yeah.
I would say possible, but unlikely for both.
What do you think is the likely scenario with them for quarterback? Is it a bridge or is it a longer solution?
I think a bridge probably for this year. I mean, it just feels like I don't know for sure, but but I guess the question is, are Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo bridges? Probably 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 for each.
I would say Jimmy maybe is because of health and everything else, but I'd say Derek Carr is likely there for a haul because he's only 31, right? So he's young still relative to how quarterbacks play these days. So I guess it depends.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like in today's day, like 3 years is probably plenty. It's like, it's like people always ask me about a coach on the hot seat. I'm like, they're all on the hot seat all the time.
Yeah.
Like you get 3 years, that's plenty. It's like people talk about the Jets OC and they're like, well, who's going to want, Saleh needs to win. I'm like, they all need to win.
Yeah. By the way, one thing about Carr that I find interesting, listen, we could sit here and debate, is he a B-level quarterback? Is he B+? Is he B-? What tier does he reside in? All that stuff. We watched him play for a while. I think we kind of know what he is, and he's good. But the one thing that keeps coming up, and I've gotten this a lot from Jet fans, the question, is he made for New York? We've seen him cry at the podium. Now, in the unforgiving world of social media, he's going to get clowned with that. I actually attribute it to the guy actually cares.
Yeah.
But would his personality, the way he's wired, would that necessarily play in New York and New Jersey?
I mean, if you care about football, I think that plays. I would say it would – look, would the tabloids think it's funny? They probably would think it's funny. But I don't know. I mean, among like the hardcore fans, having someone who cares about it that much for him to get emotional, I would say that's okay. I'd never mind people crying or showing that they care.
Yep.
People will laugh, but it's like, would you rather have Jay Cutler?
I agree with you, Ian.
Yeah.
I truly.
I don't know. Now I would say the atmosphere in New York is not for everyone.
Yeah.
And if anyone, like Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't think would kind of not really care. Derek Carr would be definitely something you'd have to get adjusted to.
Yeah, but I think Garoppolo's personality would be perfect for New York. Coaching situations starting to not shape up, but just become interesting, particularly with the Giants. Both of their coordinators are now being asked to be interviewed. Kafka's rise, if he became a head coach next year, would be meteoric. But what's the likelihood that either of the Giants coordinators end up departing this season? Right,
so Kafka has 3. And Wink Martindale has 1.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, Wink only has 1, but defensive guys always get a little bit of they kind of get the shaft a little bit.
Yep.
It would be a meteoric rise, but it would not be unprecedented. And, Ben Johnson pulling out and remaining in Detroit was a big deal because he was the hot, young, kind of untested, really good play calling offensive coordinator. Kafka fits that. And he's had great tutelage great teachers with Andy Reid, and now with Daboll, has run the offense incredibly well. It would be fast, but it wouldn't be crazy. So, like, if you said to me tomorrow, like the Panthers or whoever are hiring Kafka, I would say, wow, but okay. Like, I could see that. You know, Wilkes is there. They like him, but there does seem to be a little bit of a pull to a young, offensive, really smart guy.
Yeah, where is the latest on Sean Payton? He's kind of felt like he's linked everywhere, but I know that that's not necessarily factual.
Yeah, I mean, I would say he's linked to right now 3 places, right? So he's had the Broncos, he's had the Texans. Today's Thursday, so he's going to the Panthers in New York. Tomorrow, you guys should go to that meeting, check out, see how it goes. As far as I know, that is all that's scheduled. Now, the Panthers would have to pay more because it's New Orleans. They're in the division. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. But, you know, I get the sense the Texans, the Broncos are really interested. So if the Panthers are kind of, we'll see, then he might have his pick of those 2.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. Should be a really fun slate of games coming up this weekend. Ian Rapoport, thank you for checking in, Ian. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, it seems a little unconventional with Kafka. That would be, I think meteoric is a fair way to describe it.